Hello, hello. Hello everyone. Let us start with Java class. Hello.
You can't. Hi, ma'am.
ಗಣೇಶ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ.
Whatever, ma'am.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು
ತಗೊಂಬ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾಯಿ ಬಿದ್ದಂಗೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Hello.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ನೀವು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ ಕಣ್ರು ಕೇಳಿಸಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ.
ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay, box B1 is a first object and B2 is a second object. B1 is going to assign to a B2 and it is pointing to same. Here you can see that B1 and B2 is pointing to same box object, that is width, height and the depth. One second.
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Okay. And this is adding a method to another class. This is also we have discussed in a previous class. So this method is not returning anything. So here only we are printing the volume by calculating or by multiplying all these three variables. So here you can observe that we have two different objects for a box, my box 1 and my box 2, and we have allocated a memory by calling a constructor of this box. And here you can see that my box 1 is having a different values for those variables which are there in a box class, and my box 2 is another object which is having a different values of same variables. And via my box 1 we are calling a volume function, and my box 2 we are calling a same volume function, and which is not returning anything, indicating that we are printing the
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
volume. We are printing the volume here itself. Screen share ಆಗ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಇವಾಗ
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
okay.
ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
Okay. So here we have created two different objects, and for those two different objects we have assigned different variables, and we are calling a different, same function with a different object. Okay. And next is the same example we have taken, but the function is returning something, returning a value. So here you can see that in the earlier example we have void as a data type, here double as a data type. So we are returning something. So if we are returning something in the main, that the return variable should be of same type. So that is double volume. So here you can see that the same thing. When we are assigned values to a height, width, and the depth for those two objects, and my box 1 dot volume. So volume is equal to my box 1 dot volume. So we are calling a function and we are assigning it to a variable because our volume is returning a double type. Okay, so that is here. This single next the single statement, here you can observe that in the command line this single statement can also be written instead of writing these two statements. So system.out.println, we are just printing the volume or the function which is returning a value, so that we have stored here. This is also we have seen. I'm just recapping. Next, this is a if we are returning something, what should be the compatible type, the variable, and the return type. So that is they have written there. Next is adding a method with the parameters. So volume is not having any parameter, but it is having a return type and with a without return type. But now we will discuss with a function with a parameter. So here in square, we are directly calculating a 10 into 20, 10 into 10, and next. Here you can see that int square, int I, which is having a parameter with with that parameter we are multiplying. And here is an example, square of 5, which is going to call this square function, second square function with a parameter, and it will return the 25 as a result, and we are storing it in a x variable. If you are returning something, the return value should be of same type. Here you can see that int square and int x, so should be same type, so we should have to take care of that. Next is constructor. So constructors we have seen in C++ class also. So constructors in C++ we have discussed three types of constructor: default, parameterized, and the copy constructor. So before that, constructor indicating what? It initializes the object immediately after the creation. So initializes the object indicating what? So in Java, initializes the object indicating that the variables which we have in a class, so all those variables get initialized to 0. If you have a int, it initializes to 0. If you have a double, it initializes to 0.0, floats, like that. Okay, and constructor, which doesn't return anything and not even a void, and it may accept a parameters. So depending on the parameters, we have divided are classified different types: zero argument constructor and the parameterized constructor. Here there is no copy constructor concept. So instead of copy constructor concept, we have discussed in the earlier assigning a object reference to a variable. So that is a copy constructor concept here. So in Java there is no copy constructor. So we have only default constructor and the parameterized constructor. And this is default constructor example, class rectangle, which is having 3 variables, and rectangle is a constructor. So within that we have a function, and here you can see that we have initialized the 10 10 10 values. So even though you can initialize 0 0 values or 1 1, anything you want in a constructor, but as soon as the object is created via constructor, so here you can observe that. So here rectangle, my rectangle 1 is equal to new rectangle. So as soon as you created like this, so it will call this a default constructor. But if we don't have written these three statements, width is equal to 10, height is equal to 10, depth is equal to 10. If we have not written this, so it will initialize 0 as a default value, because it's a default constructor. So it is up to you if you wanted to initialize different values or the 0 values. Okay, that is one thing. This default constructor here we are written, and we have one function. This is also a method and this is also a method, but it is not returning anything, but it is returning something, right? Volume double, it is returning double as a return type. So here my rectangle 1, new in the function, main function, we have created two different objects indicating that two different object space will be there. So in that two different object space, we have three different variables separately, and those three variables are get assigned every time 10 10 10. I mean, two different objects with different space, we have 10 10 10 different values. Okay, so rectangle 1 object is also having width, height, and the depth 10 10 10 as a value, and rectangle 2 is also having the same value. Okay, because we are calling a constructor here. So within that rectangle constructor, you can see that 10 10 10 we have assigned. And next we are calling a volume function to calculate that. So right, so volume function is returning a double as a value, so you have to assign it to a same type variable. So this is also we have discussed in the earlier class. Here as I have told, so the default constructor automatically initializes the instance variable to 0. So as I have said, class variables, we will call it as an instance variable. If we have not explicitly written the constructor, if you have not explicitly written the constructor also, it will initialize the variables to 0. Okay, that is the default constructor. And next is parameterized constructor. So till default constructor we have discussed in the previous class. Parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor indicating what? Constructor which is having a parameters. So here class rectangle, which is having 3 variables, and rectangle. So here we have 3 different arguments are the parameters W, H, D. So we are assigning respective values to double volume. Constructor having parameters. Next. Next. So here you can see that rectangle demo. My rectangle one object, which is calling a parameterized constructor 10, 20, and 50. And 10, W, 20, and 50. And next 10, 20, and 15 values get assigned to width, height, and the depth respectively. Hello everyone, please mute your mic. Okay. Next, new rectangle 2, 3, 6, and 9. Okay. So those get assigned to a different object, that is rectangle 2 object. Okay. So yeah, I mean in the previous example we have discussed that we are directly, I mean statically assigning a values to my box 1 dot width, height dot width, like that, right? So but here we are assigning a values with a parameterized constructor, right? And then we are calling volume is equal to my rectangle volume function. So here volume is having, or it is returning a double data type. So we are assigning it to variable, and finally we are printing it. Okay. These two statements can be written in a single statement also. That also I have explained in the previous slide. And this keyword I'll explain in the another class or in the next classes. Next is overloading methods. So in C++ we have discussed overloading methods. I mean function overloading. It is same as in Java. So here we can see that overloading function indicating what a function name is same, but it is having a different parameters. Parameters type may be different, sequence may be different. So that we have discussed in the C++ class. It is same as in Java. So here class overload demo. Here we can see that trial, 3 functions. So first trial, which is not having any parameter. Second one, only one parameter. Third one, there is 2 arguments. Okay. And here you can see that double trial. So which is here return type is same, but here return type is different. So double A. So calling of these function is different and calling of this function is different. Hope you understood what is that. And here you can see that overload demo, OB is an object, new overload demo, we are calling a constructor. So once you call the constructor, so it will assign the 0 to the instance. So don't make any smileys here. Don't write any smileys here. So it will make a disturbance. So double is equal to result. So here, why this double is equal to result? We have a trial function which is returning a double type. So here next object, via object we are calling a function, all these 3 functions which is returning nothing. So object dot trial. So what is there in object dot trial? So system dot out println, there is no parameters. So object dot trial 10. So it will display the 10 as a result. Next object dot trial 10 comma 20, it will results the or it will print the 10 and the 20 values. But here you can see that result object dot trial, we have passed double value, double A. All right. So here we are passing a double value, and it will calculate or it will multiply A into A what is we are having, and it will display the result finally. So it is returning something. So if we are returning something to the main, so it's the type should be same as the variable type, and we are finally result. And next, and that is what here they have given. When an overloaded method is called, Java looks for the match between arguments using a call method and the method's parameter. Okay. And next is next, in the earlier example they have taken int, but here they have taken a different type as a double. That's the only difference here. So finally we are printing it. So return type of all those three functions are void. Next is another example, overloading a method. So here overloading a constructor. So this is also we have seen in a C++ class. So three variables of class box, and within that box it is having a parameterized constructor, the same as rectangle box. Both we have parameterized as well as the default. So in the default constructor you can see that we are assigning it to -1 value. I mean, when the object is created, all the three variables get assigned to -1. Okay. And here you can see that one more parameterized constructor with a parameter length. So all these three variables get assigned by a single value. And we have another function, double volume, which is returning a volume result. And here you can see that we have created three different objects. MyBox1, which is calling a parameterized constructor. So that is first parameterized constructor. And MyBox2, which is calling a default constructor, this one. Okay. And all these three variables get assigned to -1 value. And MyCube is equal to new box 7. So new box 7, which is calling a another box constructor, I mean the parameterized constructor, which is of type double. And here you can see that we are passing a value only 7. So here constructor or a Java gets converted into double type, and it will assign a value. So this is implicit type conversion. And finally, we are calling my volume function with all these three different objects, and we are calculating the volume. So from this MyBox1, 10 into 20 into 15 are multiplied, and it will give the result as a volume. And from MyBox2, so here it is a default constructor. So in default constructor, all the three variables get assigned to a -1 value. So it will multiply -1 twice, and it will display. And here in the third case, it will multiply 7 thrice, and it will displace the value. Next, this is important one, garbage collection. It is commonly asked question in the exam. What is actually the garbage collection? So garbage collection, usually the thing is garbage indicating it is unused. Okay. When there is an unused space available in the memory, that available space can be used by another object or another class. So that is why the garbage collection concept is there. So in C or in C we have a free function to deallocate a memory which is allocated for the program. In C++ we have delete operator to deallocate a memory. But here in Java, we don't have a free function or delete operator to deallocate a memory. Instead of those two, we have a garbage collection concept. So in this garbage collection concept, we have we have function system.gc. So in system we have only seen that function system.out.println and system.in. So we have one more thing, that is system.gc. We are calling a garbage collection function. So this we have called this function. So in turn or implicitly it will call this function finalize. Finalize is one such method. It is equivalent to free in C. So this finalize method, once it gets called, it will deallocate a memory which is allocated for that object. Okay. So when object is get deallocated, when it is unreferenced object, I mean object is not referring to anywhere. So in that case, the garbage collection concept is applied. So it's an, what is actually the garbage? Garbage is unreferenced object. Object may be assigned to another object, or object may be assigned to a null. I mean object is not allocated any memory. So for those two concepts, the garbage collection will be applied. So here you can see that student Ali is equal to new student. So Ali is one storage location which is pointing to Ali object. So this is a memory location, Ali object. And student MD is another object. So which is pointing to a MD object. So this is one storage location, this is one storage location. So it is pointing to Ali object, this is pointing to MD object. So now what we are doing, we are assigning a MD to Ali. Okay. So what we are doing, we are assigning so MD object to a Ali. So Ali is also pointing to MD now. So this reference will not be there. So now Ali and MD both are pointing to a MD object only. This Ali object, whatever we have in object,
Nadika.
that becomes a unreferenced object. So here now Ali object becomes a garbage. I mean it is an unreferenced object. So this kind of objects or this kind of memory can be restored by a garbage collection to another class or another object. So this concept is called the garbage collection. And this is what the statements which we have here. What is actually the garbage collection? Finding a garbage and reclaiming a memory allocated for it. And finding a garbage indicating what? Whenever we have unreferenced object, you have to see to it and you have to reclaim that memory. Why garbage collection? There is a heap space occupied by the unreferenced object. I mean we will not get to know whether object is referring to a particular memory or not. So that memory will get wasted. So that is why the garbage collection is needed. So when the garbage collection process is invoked, so it is total memory to the Java program exceeds some threshold. So the Java program is occupying more memory, then you can use a garbage collection. Then is a running program affected by a garbage collection? So if a program is running and one or the other object is unreferenced, then garbage collection process can proceed further. In that time, the program will automatically terminate or it will suspend. So this is an example for garbage collection and it is important. This program is not there in our syllabus. So you can read here. Java class example, example for a garbage collection, the public static void main. So here you can see that Java example is a class name and object is one such object for this, and new Java we are calling a constructor, or we are allocating a memory for this object. And what we are doing here, we are not giving any reference, or we are not pointing to anywhere or any variables. So in that case, object is equal to null. So this becomes a garbage now. This becomes a garbage now. So here in this case also, and one more case, here you can see that Java example A and B, we have created two different objects. So as I have done in Mohammed and Ali. Okay. So B is equal to A. So A is also pointing to B and B is also pointing to B. So now A's memory will get wasted. Okay. So here we are explicitly doing it null, but here we are assigning it to another object. So here A's memory get wasted. So in that case, system.gc will get called. Okay. So one object, I mean obj is one such object which is wasting a memory, and A is also one of the object which is also wasting a memory. So once you call that system.gc, it will deallocate a memory which is allocated for object as well as A by calling a protected void finalize method, and this is compulsory. Protected is the compulsory. Protected void finalize method, it will deallocate some memory which is allocated for object obj object as well as A object. So this is garbage collection concept. So when the object is unreferenced, then only you have to clear it, I mean reclaim the memory. And this is a stack class. So you have a program, I guess in the ADA lab we have a program, and your madam or your sir have explained this. So I'll just briefly explain this. Class stack. So within the class stack we have two variables. One is a stack array, and one is a top pointer, top of the stack. So stack array which is allocating a 10 array elements, and stack is a constructor. So in that constructor, top of the stack is -1. I mean the top stack is empty. Next, in that same class we have a push function. So in that push function we have a parameter, an item. So here if top of the stack is equal to 9, then stack is full. If it is equal to 9, or you can write top of stack is greater than 9 also. So that is your choice. Else you can push the items into the stack if you have a space. Pop is the next function, so which is returning a popped element. Next, if the top of the stack is less than 0, less than 0 indicating that it is -1, then it is stack is empty. If you are deleting or popping any stack element, it will display the stack underflow and it will terminate, or else it will returns the top of the stack element by decrementing the top of the stack or pointer. So all these methods are there in one constructor, and two methods are there in a class stack, and you can have display method also in a stack class. And here we have another class for a main. So in that main we have created two different objects, myStack1 and myStack2, and calling a constructor. So in both the statements, both the objects is pointing to the pointers get initialized to -1 value, and we have to push values from 0 to 10 and 10 to 20. So for myStack1 object, it will be having from 0 to 9. myStack2 second object will be having from 10 to 19 are the values. Okay, so 10 to 9 and 0 to 9 and 10 to 19 values will be there in stack 1 and stack 2. Okay, next, if you wanted to pop the element, popping of element from the stack, you can call pop function for myStack1 and myStack2. So here myStack1 and myStack2 are two different stack objects. So are two different stacks. Okay, so we're just pushing and popping, and popped element we are displaying here. Okay, we are not displaying a pushed elements, we are displaying a popped elements. So this is important stack class, and these are the different advantages and disadvantages of garbage collection. You can refer, and these points are not there in your book, and you can study here itself. Advantages of garbage collection is garbage collection eliminates the need of the programmer to deallocate a memory blocks explicitly. Okay, so I mean the programmer no need of deallocating a memory like calling a free or calling a delete. So GC will automatically do that whenever we have or whenever it finds the unreferenced object. Okay, And next disadvantage is that garbage collection adds an overhead that affects the program performance. I mean, when we are executing a program that garbage collection takes place, what happens? Our program gets suspended. So that is one of the drawback of this garbage collection. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the chat section. Okay, and we can continue the class in the next session. So this is enough for today's class. Okay, thank you.